Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news with Erik ten Hag reportedly wanting TCHOUAMENI from Monaco, reports around Pau Torres as well as big updates in relation to the interview that Erik ten Hag apparently did where he blew United out of the water and basically was him doing all the talking, telling the club about how badly it's run, how bad their recruitment's been and how big the job is to turn Manchester United around. Big updates around that if they are true. But first of all, lots to talk about. I want to delve back into some of the stuff from last night as well. Very interesting about this story about Ronaldo, Richarlison, Steven Bergwijn and a few other bits, as well as Matic potentially leaving. But let's hit the show straight away. I can see we've got a few members in the chat actually. I can see them with their badges like Jay and Susan and everybody else. If you want to become a member, please do click the join button or you can click the link at the top of the chat. Thanks for your support on the channel. Remember, if you are a member, you get exclusive access to our new members videos. Got one coming out on Nunez, but we've done one on Timber against Maguire, Rashford against Anthony, and I think we'll need to do one on TCHOUAMENI very soon, hopefully. So let's go. Let's get ready to rumble. So the first thing we're going to talk about is TCHOUAMENI. There's some reports coming in this morning from France and from ESPN that Manchester United, Erik ten Hag specifically, will suggest TCHOUAMENI as the CDM role. Now, the background to this story is obviously that most of you, personally myself as well, would like TCHOUAMENI to come to Manchester United. Admittedly, he's playing in the French league and that's no guarantee, but I think from what he's done in the national side, his age profile, the fact that he's been doing this consistently for 18 months now, a lot of big clubs are looking at him. He does fit the profile of what we want as a central defensive midfielder. Welcome to Members Club Guy. And it's interesting that United have been linked to him. Would I get overly excited about this at the moment? No, but you've got to start somewhere. And I think the thing I like about this story is that we know when you've got people like Luckhurst in the Manchester Evening News pushing the Calvin Phillips story, that it's very slim, it's very flimsy on who United are looking at. Look, Declan Rice is apparently the number CDM one that we're looking for. Declan Rice has got a very big chance now with Barcelona out of the Europa League and West Ham through to the semi-final. Who's left in that tournament? Leipzig and Rangers and somebody else. I mean, they've got a very good chance of winning that tournament, West Ham. And if West Ham win the Europa League, they're in the Champions League, which puts you in this preposterous position that United think they can sign Declan Rice when we're not in the Champions League and the club that he's in is. So Declan Rice is looking harder and harder. And effectively, United have scouted people that they're going to talk to Ten Hag and say, these are the midfielders that we think we should get. The TCHOUAMENI story is interesting because this is more a story that Erik ten Hag wants to sit down with Manchester United and he suggests they go for TCHOUAMENI. I don't think, from what I've been told and speaking to people, I think we've even spoken to Fabrizio about it on the show, United haven't really scouted TCHOUAMENI. He's never been in their sort of top 3 or 4 targets for that CDM role. Last summer, we were mentioned in relation to him, but we never looked at him. I don't think our scouting is looking at TCHOUAMENI. Unfortunately, I think you and I and others will suggest players that would be perfect fits for Man United, but our scouts don't look at them. And there's been plenty in the past. Fabinho was another one, didn't really look at him. Everyone could see that he would be perfect. Now we're not looking for that sort of player. We're looking for a Matic. Our scouting is just not very good. And this is something that I think it's Neil Custis has wrote about this morning, saying that from the interview that Erik ten Hag did, he actually highlighted and said your scouting's not good enough. And it isn't. We're not scouting the right profile of player. If you look at the last 9 years, we've spent well over £1 billion. But how many players have slipped through the net? I mean, look, every Liverpool signing could have been a United signing. Van Dijk, it was even famously quoted saying they chose Lindelof over me. Fabinho was a George Mendes client, probably still is. Jose Mourinho was our manager. We could have got Fabinho. There are loads and loads of... Mane was a player that apparently we didn't want either. So I'm only using Liverpool examples there, but there'll be loads and loads of players that we always say, wow, we've spent £1 billion, but we spent it badly. We may as well have shoveled up that money and put it on a bonfire. It was absolutely a waste of money because we scouted badly. Decisions were made that were bad. And I think Erik ten Hag is right if he said that in the interview. I would say in an interview, if I was being interviewed by United, I'd say, look, I've done my research. Over the last 9 years, you've spent £1 billion. What have you got to show for it? What's the value of the squad you've got now? Just overpaid, not good enough. How many trophies have you won? Not good enough. And here's a list of players that you should have gone for that for some reason you didn't go for. Why? And Neil Custer says that as well. It was almost like Erik ten Hag was interviewing Fletcher and Murta, because he was asking a lot of questions, which is which is probably how he's impressed them. Because I'd sit there in the interview to Murta and I would say, hold on a minute, you spent £1 billion. Why didn't you buy Fabinho? Why didn't you go for Mane? Why didn't you go for Van Dijk? You clearly wanted a centre back at that time. Man United were in as good a position as Liverpool. Why didn't you go for them? Why? Well, we went for Matic. Yeah, you went for Lindelof. Yeah, exactly. You're scouting shit. Carlos, welcome. Thank you very much for the super chat there. So, yeah, I mean, look, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Tchouaméni. There's no doubt that there will be other clubs looking at him. Real Madrid, PSG, Liverpool. There are big clubs looking at him who can offer him Champions League football. So, again, we'll have to get in line. But Erik ten Hag stepping into that football club and saying we should be looking at this type of player, he would be perfect for what United need as a CDM. I'm not going to get overly excited about it, but he's definitely the profile of player that we should be looking at. He's got the right age profile. I think he's 22, hungry, ready to take the next step. Perfect. A bit like Timber, really. Rahul says Sel Maguire. He's a bit like Timber, really, where you buy a player in their early 20s who are hungry with talent and you bring them into a club where we're not looking to win the league next year. We're looking to rebuild over the next 2 to 3 years. What a perfect time to bring players in that are very talented, but we can have a little bit of patience with them. And I think Tchouaméni would be perfect. Absolutely perfect. But whether we can do the deal or not, I don't know. So, next thing I want to talk about, Pau Torres, just very quickly. This is very tentative. I saw a few people going on about it last night. I don't really know where it's coming from. I think it's more of a rumour that Manchester United might be going for Pau Torres. I mentioned him because I've just mentioned Timber there. Happy Easter. Let's hope Ten Hag can resurrect United like how Jesus rose from the dead. Mark, thoughts on reports saying Ten Hag doesn't want Ronaldo. I'm going to talk about that, Julian. It's on the mission to do that. I'm not talking about Sean Dyche, so you can carry on about Sean Dyche all you like. I'm talking about Manchester United. So if you want to talk about Sean Dyche, go and find a Burnley channel. Hi Mark, if Ranić played all the youngsters against Norwich, would you be upset? I honestly believe that we have a higher chance to win them, says Akil. Yeah, we're not going to be playing the youngsters tomorrow either. So Pau Torres, let's talk about Pau Torres. I don't think United will go for him, but there was a lot of excitement last night sort of on social media about it. It was a bit of a rumour going round. He does need to leave Villarreal at some point, and I mean, if we're looking for a left-sided centre-back, he's perfect. I mean, I'll put my hands up and say when we were linked to Villarreal, when we were linked to Varane a while ago, I really did like that signing. I like the signing of Varane. I think people have given up on Varane, and I think this is the modern football fan where they're just a little bit thick. Like, Varane has suddenly become a bad player and a bad signing. Well, hold on a minute. He's still one of the best centre-backs in the world and has consistently proven that at United. When he plays for United, our defence never looks like it's going to concede more than 2. When he doesn't play for United, we could concede 5 with Maguire and Lindelof. It's just, you never know. Roll the dice and see what happens, see how many you concede. So Varane is a fantastic centre-back, and I don't think as fans we should feel guilty for choosing Varane in our heads over a Torres or any other option last summer, because we were basically picking one of the world's best centre-backs for under 40 million quid. And that was the deal. And that's the deal, right? You can have Varane for 35 million quid. Of course we're going to do it. What we didn't know is, and what I suspect the club did know is, he's got injury problems, because his injury record has been a joke. And I think you do end up in a situation now where you go, would we have been better off with Pau Torres over Rafael Varane? And based on the injury, you can make a conversation about that. Varane has been very disappointing this season because he's been so good when he's played, but he's missed a lot of games and you never know when he's going to play, and that's not really acceptable. So it has been disappointing. But forgetting that, it is what it is. Drub, welcome to the Members Club. It is what it is. If we were offered Pau Torres now, would I take him? Yeah, I would do, because, I mean, Timber's not left-footed, as far as I remember, he's not. To have a left-footed centre-back who plays a lot of games and is very consistent and has done it at the highest level would be massively beneficial to Manchester United. Do I think we'll go for Torres? I think the fee will be too restrictive for what we're looking for. I think that Timber's going to cost you, 30 million maybe? Kanji will cost you less than that, and then you're going to go and buy a centre back for 55 million or 50 million. I don't think United will go for Pau Torres. What I would love to see happen is Harry Maguire gets sold and we buy Pau Torres as the left-footed replacement, because obviously Harry Maguire's not left-footed, but he plays left side of the centre back. But look, I don't think we're going to be in for it. I'm not talking about Sean Dyche. This is the United stand. I couldn't give a shit about Sean Dyche on the United stand. If you do, go and find a Burnley channel. Jog on. I'm not going to talk about Sean Dyche on a Manchester United channel. Ollie ruined Varane by rushing him back from injury, says Julian. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I mean, look, I hope with Varane that the injury issue isn't too long term, but I just suspect that maybe it is. So I don't think there's anything to get excited about around Pau Torres at the moment. But would I welcome him at Manchester United? Yes. Why do I think we won't go for him? Because I just think it's too much money. Do you think Ralph is exposing the club by putting 2 keepers on the bench and bringing on Mata to show where the club is at and not being backed, says Rory? Well, I think it's interesting, Rory, because somebody just said, well, let's play the youth against Norwich. We need to beat Norwich. I mean, I get what you mean. The players don't deserve to wear the shirts. I'm not going to change my mind on that. But you know, we do need to win tomorrow. I think it's really important that we are in Europe to some extent. I mean, look, people can look. It's very embarrassing to end up in the Europa League, but the Europa League is better for us than nothing, because look at West Ham. West Ham have done reasonably well this season, and they've got a very good chance of winning the Europa League, which puts you in the Champions League. We've got to take. I personally think the Europa League, I've said it before, the Europa League might be our best chance of Champions League football, because if you win it, you're in the Champions League. I don't think 4th place is nailed on for United next year. Big decisions being made with manager, players, and stadium. Slow steps, but looking hopeful. But the Glazers will always be the problem until we get rid, says Chris H. I mean, look, I've just got no. I've got no. What's the word? Not inspiration. I'm trying to think of the word. I've got no real fire for what people are talking about the Glazers at the moment, to be honest with you. I think that, you know, I live my life in a way where I'm committed to one thing or I'm committed to another thing, and I don't want to be 50-50 and sit on the fence. And I'm like, look, we've got Erik ten Hag. There's exciting things happening around next season. This season's been absolutely shit. Everybody knows it's been shit, and the players have been the reason it's been shit. And yet people just want to sort of. I don't really understand. I do understand, but I don't understand. If you know what I mean, I understand why people are frustrated with the ownership, but they've finally done something that's good, and we've known about it for 2 weeks, and people are still going on about, oh no, it's not good. It's not good. I'm fed up of the owners and this, that, and the other. I'm like, but I find it hard. I mean, a year ago, when we had the Super League and that, was disgusted, and I think everybody was disgusted. I've never wanted the Glazers in charge of this club. I don't want them in charge of the club today, but I don't really get the massive frustration at the moment, because we've just appointed Erik ten Hag 2 weeks ago. That's a step in the right direction. The football is because of the players. I think this summer's massive for United, and I really don't want a load of disruption for a new manager. I mean, surely the most important thing is to give Erik ten Hag this summer, see how the club support him, and if they don't support him, then you get pissed off. But I think we've got to give it a chance. Nits, thank you very much for subscribing, becoming a member. Thank you very much. So yeah, Pau Torres, TCHOUAMENI, we've spoken about that. I did want to just very quickly talk about Ronaldo. You embarrassed Sean in a Hell in a Cell. Less than 24 hours later, he's gone, says Daniel Edgington. We got better chance with youth winning against Norwich, says Jay. I mean, Jay, look, I think I've got to be honest here. I'll give you my opinion. I really do think people saying play the youth against Norwich are thick. I'm sorry. I know people say, well, that's very offensive, but I do. I really do. Because what part of you thinks that we can just throw the season in the bin? Let the players do that, but as the fans, we've still got a chance to get into the Europa League. And the Europa League could mean Champions League football for Erik ten Hag. I ain't thinking about Harry Maguire and these players. They're a shower of shit. I ain't thinking about the Glazers or anything like that. I'm thinking about Erik ten Hag next season. I'm thinking about the job he's got next year. And his job next year will be easier if we're in the Europa League, so he's got something to play for. And people saying, oh, let's just play the youth. Yeah, let's go and play Charlie McNeil and everybody else against Norwich and let's get beat 4-0, but at least they'll put some effort in. Those 3 points could be massive. We can't finish the season with 51 points. We've got to try and get in the Europa League. And to do that, we are going to need the Ronaldos and the Sanchos and everybody. So I don't get what people are going, oh, let's just play the youth. I understand the frustration with the players, but they're on. Some of them are on 200 grand a week. Fucking get out there and play. You owe performances to these fans. How is next summer going to look like because of the World Cup? Is the transfer window smaller, says Reddy? I don't know. We got better chance. No, we haven't got a better chance. And I'm not talking about Burnley. I'll do a video on Burnley after this. I'm talking about Manchester United. I've got no interest in talking about fucking Burnley on the United stand for the millionth time. And if you have got an interest, why aren't you subscribed to a Burnley channel? Since when do we talk about sackings of other managers that we're not playing and it's got nothing to do with us? If you want that, go to That's Football. Tchouaméni, Torres or Timber, Nkunku and Nunes. I'd go for them, says Daniel. There you go. Just wild thoughts from Daniel there. Thank you very much. So look, let me talk to you about Ronaldo. The story last night came out from the Star about Ronaldo and Ten Hag not wanting Ronaldo. Obviously, I wasn't on the show last night, but I did say on Monday that we have... that I spoke to somebody on Monday and Ronaldo is staying. So I was very interested to see the story last night that that Manchester United, Eric Ten Hag has sanctioned the sale of Cristiano Ronaldo. It was in the Daily Star, which is, if you're not in the UK, it ain't tier 1. It ain't tier 2. It ain't tier 3 when it comes to news. So straight away, I think you've got to... I mean, look, I said this so many times. I think the way the human brain works is if somebody says something that they like, it's suddenly true. You see it on Twitter all the time. You'll get somebody who's just a completely made-up account and they'll have about 10,000 followers and they'll pretend that they're an undercover journalist who knows everything about Man United. And it's literally like they're sat in the dressing room every day, the stuff they tweet, which is the biggest load of bollocks. Or it's somebody, I've got a mate who works at the club. Load of bollocks. If you're getting information from the club, you don't need a mate in the club. You don't need to be a secret person. The club will give you information. Look at Laurie Whitwell, James Ducker. The club are more than happy to give out information to blue ticks. So all these bullshitters on Twitter who've got like, oh, I get my information from here, there and everywhere. They're full of shite. They're absolutely full of shit. And on top of that, people believe it because they'll say something that they want to believe. Oh, we're very close to signing Tchouaméni. Yeah, they must have a source. They must have a source. They don't have a source. It's just feeding on things that people want. Ronaldo, Ten Hag has not told Manchester United to sell Ronaldo because he hasn't. And he can't, and he won't, and it wouldn't mean anything if he did. Cristiano Ronaldo will be at Manchester United next season, as I was told on Monday, because nobody else will take Cristiano Ronaldo from Manchester United unless he can find somebody to take him. Now, I'm pretty sure that Cristiano Ronaldo at the end of the season will speak to George Mendes and say, are there any options on the table? But Ronaldo has always been a player that focuses on the season in hand. And he's not going to start looking for moves in March or April. And Man United can't sell him. So they're not going to be looking to sell him, regardless of what Ten Hag says. So Cristiano Ronaldo will not be part of Eric Ten Hag's long-term plans, but for the next season, I think he will be. And anybody who says that he doesn't fit his system, you're telling me that Sebastian Haller is better than Cristiano Ronaldo. So he will use Ronaldo. Ronaldo will be at United next season, unless somebody somewhere comes in with ridiculous money and pays him the whatever, over £500,000 a week we're paying him and gives us a transfer fee because he's on a 2-year deal. So Ronaldo leaving Man United this summer was always something I predicted would happen if we don't get Champions League football, and we're not going to get Champions League football. But the one thing I never really factored in, which I should have done, is does Ronaldo want to play Champions League football next season? Yes. If somebody offered it to him, would he probably go? Yeah. But is somebody going to offer him the money that we've got him on for a 2-year deal, which we've got him under? No. And it'll come down to money. We'll be stuck with each other. I do understand that, but by players not even showing hearts, it's frustrating, says Jay. Yes, it is. Moody Bridge says, Ike, not moody at all, mate. I'm not moody at all. I've been very ill all week and I still feel very ill now. David Page, time for Bay and or Jones to come in. Well, that won't happen. because he would just pick Lindelof and Maguire, to be honest with you. I also saw that Fabrizio linked us to Richarlison and somebody else linked us to Steven Bergwijn. I mean, look, I'm not going to be the person that says never say. I am going to be the person that says never say never. But why? Why would we? Why would we want a Spurs reject? We've already avoided one of those in Pochettino. So why would we go for Steven Bergwijn? Maybe because he's Dutch. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather probably go for Bergwijn over Richarlison, because Bergwijn maybe has more. Maybe he's not delivered his full potential at Spurs. Maybe in the right system with the right coaching and the right platform, he could be a lot better. So Bergwijn's interesting. Richarlison, I just don't like his attitude at all. I think it stinks. I think he'd be a bloody nightmare at Manchester United. I think he'd fit right in with the bunch of any given Sunday I'll turn up, but any given Saturday I won't attitude. I think he's... I've never really been impressed with Richarlison. There's no doubt he's a decent player, and he can take his chicken bloody celebration and swim. He can take it to KFC, because I wouldn't want Richarlison. And I suppose the third hammer blow would be that I think United going for Richarlison would be everything that's been wrong with United over the last 9 months. Oh yeah, let's go and spend 70 million on a player that's been shit. So no, I do. So yeah, I wouldn't want him. To be honest with you, Ten Hag plans are long term. Lots of players can stay for a year whilst the rebuild is in motion. Exactly, Clive. I think fans really need to be switched on to that. We won't sell everybody in season 1. We're going to. I mean, think about it like Game of Thrones. If anyone ever watched Game of Thrones, how many seasons of Game of Thrones was there? Was there 6 or something like that? People died and left in season 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to happen with Manchester United. People are going to leave in season 1, in season 2, in season 3, and the story will get better and better. There will be players that stay and play next season that will go the following summer. People I would suggest will 100% be at United next season, but I'd be looking to get rid of them long term. Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Fred, those 3 players for me, I'd be getting rid of them in the next 2 years 100%. Wan-Bissaka at the moment is probably going to have to go as well. Some might even throw Marcus Rashford into that equation, but there will be others. Wishing you a good Friday, Mark, says Jazz. Thank you very much. Ike, thank you very much for the love. Are you still going to be presenting United Stand next season, says Alls? I'm not answering that. And with Bergwijn, there is a player in there, but I just don't think he was shown it yet. As for Carlton, I just don't rate him, says MG. Thanks for the super chat there. I'm not being rude to Alls, by the way, but people keep trying to do this. They think, if I do a super chat and ask the direct question, which he said he's not going to answer for 6 weeks, he'll answer it. I'm not going to answer it. What's the point in saying I can't say anything for 6 weeks and then answering the question that you put forward? You're just wasting your time. I'll give Rashford some time, says Pom. Yep. I think it's interesting in relation to Rashford, without a doubt. I do think that he can be better, certainly. So I think it's interesting. I'm just having a quick look around at what's going on here. Burnley Football Club have confirmed that they've got rid of Sean Dyche. Well, I'm going to have to go. It'd be wrong of me not to do a reaction video to Sean Dyche on That's Football, so I'm going to go and do one. But that is quite surprising that they've got rid of him. I mean, all I would say about that is I will do a proper video on That's Football, but is it a coincidence that I release a video of Mark Goldbridge in a wrestling match against Sean Dyche, and within 12 hours... he's sacked? I mean, that's stunner. I mean, you need to watch it. Goldbridge against Dyche, Hell in a Cell, WWE wrestling match on my channel. How? I don't believe in coincidence. And that video goes out last night, and Burnley sack him. You know, forget all the losses this season. Forget the hammer blow loss last week to Norwich. The thing that's pushed the Burnley board over the edge is that wrestling match last night where Goldbridge battered him in a Hell in a Cell match, and they've just gone, he's lost He's lost his power. He's not there anymore. Read that Matic is leaving at the end of the season, says EJ. Aidan says, I'm so excited of Ten Hag. I feel like a step in the right direction has been finally taken after Sir Alex Ferguson. Clear up the wage bill and get the ball rolling. Mallorca Island ladies, know you well, Mark. What went off there, says Jazz. Oh, God, we've got some right weirdos around this morning, haven't we? Everything is connected, says David. Well, look, in relation to Matic, I did see the story last night. I mean, it's just a story. I wouldn't say it's nailed on. But Nemanja Matic does need to leave Manchester United. There's numerous reasons why, but the obvious one is he can't play more than an hour. Every single game he gets subbed off, doesn't he? So I think with Matic it makes total sense. But look, we've got Ralph Rangnick's press conference coming up, so I'll be live for that very, very soon because it's at 1:30, so I'll be live again just before 2 o'clock. So I'm not going to dwell on this show too long, and I do need to do a Sean Dyche reaction video. But I think that the TCHOUAMENI rumour is interesting. The Pau Torres one is interesting, but probably unlikely. And the rebuild really does start, and I'm excited by this rebuild. And look, there's no reason to be... I've got to say this again. There's no reason to be guilty for feeling a bit positive. I mean, I don't feel generally positive at the moment. I feel like shit, and I felt terrible all week. But in relation to Manchester United, I'll always be honest, and I just don't feel what this thing is at the moment that people are moaning about. Like, we've got a manager that I never thought they were going to appoint. It's a massive summer of incomings and outgoings, and then it's a really exciting next couple of years to see what happens. I've probably been more excited about United than I have been since we got Mourinho. I wasn't massively excited about Ollie. It was optimism. It wasn't excitement. And with Mourinho, I thought, we're going to win a league because that's what he does. So I've not been this excited since we appointed Mourinho, which is 6 years? So, sorry if I'm not feeling like, let's start a revolution. I'm like, let's start a revolution. Let's start a revolution under Erik Ten Hag. Let's see what's going to happen with him. For the first time in a long time, I feel positive about it. It's a long-term positive. I don't feel in the short term very positive. I can't stand these players. But they're going to have to win our trust back, really. Can you interview Sean Dyche in Carpool, says Jay? And Mark, you've held our hand on the way down. Please let us hold your hand on the way back. Please don't leave unless you feel you have to, says Sean from Ireland. Mark, if you ask Ollie one thing that got him the sack, you would say that the right-back signing of Trippier, he wanted him the most. Yeah, but Mashuk. Ollie's gone. Forget Ollie. Just remember Ollie as a legend, as a player. I don't want to think about him as a manager because we're in a lot of trouble because of him. Mark, now do a video of you beating Maguire at Hell in a Cell and he will get captain's armband took off him, says Dazzo. Yeah, I'm going to go and film it right now. Anyway, look, thanks everyone who's joined the Members Club. If you want to join and watch the exclusive videos on there and support the channel, please click the join button. And it's pinned in the chat as well. We'll also be back just before 2 o'clock with Ralph Rangnick's press conference. Looking forward to that. And I'll speak to you all in a little bit. Thanks for watching.